Thank you for joining us on Asset Television News. I am Eugenia Solomon. First, the headlines. Tinubu says he won't make Nigeria a one-party state. Dr. Sami Charles advises Nigerians to imbibe democratic culture. Senator Oshiomhole explains self after airport incidents. In other news, in detail. Amid gale of defections into the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, President Bola Tinubu has rubbished claims that his government plans to make Nigeria a one-party state, declaring that it is not good for the country. Tinubu said this while addressing a joint session of the National Assembly in Abuja as part of activities lined up to mark the 2025 Democracy Day. Recalling his role as an opposition governor while he administered Lagos State between 1999 and 2007, Tinubu says he has no intention to make Nigeria a one-party state but would not reject members of the opposition who want to join the APC.
Political parties fearful of members leaving may be better served by examining their internal processes and affairs rather than fearfully conjuring up demons that do not exist. For me, I would not say try your best to put your house in order. I will not help you to do so either. It is indeed a pleasure to witness you in such a disarray.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has conferred national honors on MKO Abiola, a former chairman of the defunct National Electoral Commission, NEC, Humphrey Nwosu, and confer posthumous national honor to the Ogoni Nine and full pardon. As Nigeria celebrates Democracy Day, prominent Nigerians have continued to salute the resilience and patriotism exhibited by the citizens in keeping the flag of nationhood flying, while former presidential aspirant on the platform of the Labour Party, Dr. Sami Charles, also chairman of the ANOG Group, says Nigeria will get to her political peak once everyone does the right thing. Dr. Sami Charles, in his democracy message to Nigerians, said that this is time for deeper reflections as the country prepares for another round of election in 2 years' time. He advised Nigerians to liberate themselves from political robbers, jobbers who are capable of damaging the country's reputation. Charles said June 12, 1993 remains indelible in the minds of peace-loving politicians, and all must be done to avoid future occurrence. Political economist Professor Pat Utomi has said that the occasion of Nigeria's Democracy Day to call for a deeper reflection on leadership in the country, describing some politicians as thugs and tropical gangsters. Utomi shared his thoughts in a series of posts on Wednesday and Thursday via his X handle, where he emphasized the need for Nigerians to liberate themselves from politicians whose actions, he said, continue to damage the country's progress. Utomi linked the spirit of June 12 to the leadership struggle championed by the late Chief MKO Abiola, whose annulled 1993 election victory is widely regarded as a pivotal moment in Nigeria's democratic history. He said June 12 is perhaps the day to reflect on leadership question in Nigeria. Senator Adams Oshiomhole has criticized domestic airline Air Peace of preventing passengers who had already checked in from boarding their flight. The incident happened on Wednesday morning at Murtala Muhammad International Airport Terminal 1 in Lagos. He accused the airline of cancelling tickets and reselling the same seats at higher prices. A video shared online showed that former Edo State Governor confronting airline staff at the terminal. According to some sources at the airport, Oshomole arrived late for his flight, which was scheduled for 6:30 a.m. and blocked the entrance to the General Aviation Terminal in protest. Air Peace later released a statement blaming Oshomole for what they called unruly and disruptive conduct. However, Oshomole said he had booked a flight with the Air Peace, which was delayed for over 5 hours before being cancelled. As a result, he had to buy a new ticket. Although he had no luggage and had checked in online, he was still denied entry. Asset Television News will return after the break. Thank you for being there. You're still watching Asset Television News. Aliko Dangote has retired as chairman of the board of Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, bringing an end to a 20-year leadership of the company. His retirement takes effect from June 16, 2025, according to a statement signed by the company's secretary, Temitope Hassan, on Wednesday. Dangote, who has been at the helm of leadership since 2005, is credited with steering Dangote Sugar into a market leader in Nigeria's sugar industry projects. In Nigeria's sugar industry, overseeing major expansion projects and strengthening corporate governance, while the board has appointed independent non-executive director Arnold Ekwe as the new chairman. Ekwe is a seasoned banker and former group CEO of EcoBank with extensive boardroom and leadership experience across sectors. While operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC have arrested 11 suspected internet fraudsters in Kaduna State. The EFCC disclosed this via a statement issued on June 11, 2025. The anti-graft agency said the suspected internet fraudsters were apprehended in Mahuta and Barnawa areas of Kaduna, the state capital, following credible information that linked the suspects to fraudulent internet activities. It listed items recovered from the suspects to include the black-colored Mercedes-Benz C300, 14 mobile phones, 2 laptops, computers, an iPad, 2 MiFi, and 1 Zilot speaker. The EFCC added that the suspected internet fraudsters would be arraigned upon the conclusion of investigations. While the federal government has announced that the Nigerian civil service will become fully paperless by December 2025, head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Didi Esther Wilson Jack, announced this at a briefing in Abuja to commemorate the 2025 African Public Service Day and Civil Service Week. Wilson Jack said the move was in line with the federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan 2021 to 2025, which is set to conclude at the end of the year. Wilson Jack further outlined the activities scheduled to mark the 2025 African Public Service Day and Civil Service Week. She also said a recent study tour to Singapore was part of preparatory activities aimed at positioning Nigeria's civil service for excellence and attracting global participation in the upcoming events. Now, the Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the bail application filed by 3 detained promoters of crypto bridge exchange CBEX in the alleged over $1 billion fraud until June 30th for ruling. Justice Emeka Nwite fixed the date after counsel for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC, Fadila Yusuf, and the defense lawyers adapted their processes and argued their cases for and against the application. Justice Nwite on April 24th gave the EFCC a go-ahead to arrest and detain 6 operators of CBEX over their involvement in the fraud. The judge who gave the order after the EFCC's lawyer Yusuf moved an ex parte motion to the effect said the detention would be pending the conclusion of investigation of the alleged offenses and possible prosecution. Now, Nollywood actor Godwin Nadiekwe has confirmed his full recovery following an onset accident involving fellow actor Zubi Michael. The incident, which sparked concern among fans and colleagues, occurred during the filming of a movie scene where Zubi Michael reportedly kicked Nadiekwe, leading to the latter's hospitalization. In a heartfelt message shared via his Instagram page, Nadiekwe expressed gratitude to everyone who supported him during his recovery journey, describing the past few weeks as a challenging journey. On the foreign scene now, London-bound passenger plane crashed Thursday in India's western city of Ahmedabad with 242 on board, aviation officials said, in what the airline called a tragic accident. Air India flight 171, a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, which was bound for London Gatwick, crashed shortly after takeoff. India's aviation minister said he was shocked and devastated by the crash in Ahmedabad, where journalists saw thick fumes of black smoke over the airport. India's Civil Aviation Authority said that there were 242 persons on board, including 2 pilots and 10 cabin crew. The Air India plane issued a Mayday call and crashed immediately after takeoff, according to Director General of Civil Aviation. The Civil Aviation Authority said the plane crashed outside the airport perimeter. Ahmedabad, the main city of India's Gujarat state, is home of ground 8 million people, and the busy airport is located surrounded by densely packed residential areas. And now Omike Matthew brings us sports update.
Political parties fearful of members leaving may be better served by examining their internal processes and affairs.
Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola has released a 27-man squad ahead of the Club World Cup. One of the key exclusions is Jack Grealish, who is expected to leave the Premier League side this summer. New signings Ryan Alt-Nouri, Ryan Chiki and Tijani Rajenders made the cut. City are built to play Moroccan side Wydad AC in their first game on June 18. And Trent Alexander-Arnold will wear Real Madrid's number 12 shirt at the Club World Cup and potentially beyond. Alexander-Arnold has been forced to move on from the iconic number 66 shirt he wore at Liverpool. The English defender will now take the number 12 shirt, as the rule in La Liga stipulates that players must pick a shirt number between 1 and 25. Los Blancos have now revealed their squad list and the official numbers ahead of the Club World Cup. The number 12 shirt at the Bernabeu was made famous by Marcelo and most recently worn by Eduardo Camavinga. Alexander-Arnold wore the number 66 from the time he was a youth player at Liverpool until he left. Now he appears to have added the numbers together, although it is subject to change later in pre-season. And former Chelsea midfielder John Obi Mikel has criticized the club's decision to overlook Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen in favor of a less proven option ahead of their Club World Cup campaign. Speaking to the London Standard, Mikel, who spent over a decade at Stamford Bridge, expressed disappointment that Chelsea have opted to sign a 22-year-old Liam Delap from Ipswich Town for £30 million rather than invest in an established goal scorer like Osimhen. Chelsea will travel to the United States on Friday to compete in the FIFA Club World Cup, buoyed by their recent UEFA Conference League triumph. However, Mikel believes that to truly compete for global honors, Chelsea must prioritize proving firepower. Despite acknowledging Delap's efforts and potential after his 12-goal return for a relegated Ipswich side last season, Mikel questioned whether he is ready for the demands of leading the line at a club of Chelsea's stature. Mikel has consistently championed Osimhen's suitability for Chelsea, and he did not hold back in reiterating his stance, suggesting the club may have missed a golden opportunity. British-Nigerian boxer Anthony Joshua could retire from professional boxing in 2026, according to his promoter Eddie Hearn, who hinted that the former heavyweight champion may only have 3 major fights left in his career. Speaking to DAZN and the MMA Hour with Arya Hilwani, Hearn suggested that the 34-year-old's final chapter in boxing could involve a series of high-profile fights, culminating in a retirement at the end of 2026. Hearn revealed that Joshua is preparing for a comeback bout later this year following elbow surgery in May. And that's the sports. I am Omike Matthew. Manchester.
We sincerely apologize for the mix-up earlier. And with that sports story, we end the news. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates and programs. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Eugenia Solomon. Thank you for watching.